What about the cartels? What about the drugs? What about getting robbed? What about getting shot? Aren't you scared?
Am I scared? Nah, I'm good.
Hey, it's Chris and Jackie from Aprende Más, where we talk about small town living in San Miguel, things the touristy videos won't show you. Today we're talking about, something that's paramount for a lot of people. We talk about living in Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
Do you feel safe?
Mm-hmm.
And we live in San Miguel, do we feel safe living here?
Mm-hmm.
That's always the question you tell family, friends. Hey, come on down, come visit. Why wouldn't you move down here? They're
That was the first thing they would say. You gonna be safe?
The cartels.
Cartels.
They're going to kidnap you.
Literally the first thing.
Yeah. So that's something that on a daily basis, I know I don't think about cartels. I don't see any signs of cartels. Are they here?
Mm-hmm.
Probably.
Mm-hmm.
The same way if you're in America, the cartel is there too.
There's a relationship.
MS-13, Mafia, all of them are running businesses behind the scenes. So you never know that restaurant you're going to might actually be owned and operated.
Right, a cover, whatever.
Could be anything. But one of the things I think that helps me feel safe here, that probably if I was back home would make me feel on edge, is the police force rolling through town on the back of a pickup truck, 10 dudes on the back, all with AK-47s. And women.
There are some lady cops too.
Let me not miss out the
women. They
women.
be looking good in their uniforms too.
And that gun too. Something about the gun make it sexy. But
I already addressed the cop bay. You better watch it. But anywho, safety.
That's a good one. Start calling them cop bays. But yeah, it's a sight. Maybe it's a little strange when you first see it, but to see, a force of people moving through with AK-47s, just rolling down the street, and there's really nothing going on. They're not going to, knock out a riot. There's not some big, heist going on.
Right.
They're there for your safety. They're there as a show of force to some extent. What did you kind of think about when you kind of first saw them? Were you taken aback, or did you feel?
So, because of my international travel experience, for some reason, other countries do actually do that. When you land in London Heathrow Airport, right, there are cops there with AK-47s as you are coming out of the airport. And it's or as you're going through the airport, it's yikes, you know what I mean? And so that was over 20 years ago. And so that I had seen it before. I believe in South Africa too, when we landed in Johannesburg or Cape Town. Can't remember my flight landing, but anyway. So I had seen it before, so it wasn't totally foreign to me. But what was foreign and is still foreign is feeling safe.
Because of it.
In spite of.
In spite of.
When I go back home to the States, there's a regular police officer and I get clammy. And I get a little nervous. And we just in a Chick-fil-A trying to grab a number one with some Polynesian sauce. Yeah. That's the difference. I feel safer here.
I think part of that situation is the relationship we have with the police.
Right.
Back home.
It's societal, right?
It's societal, right? There's a lack of trust in the police.
Correct.
If I see a policeman with just a 9mm on his hip, I'm looking at that 9mm to make sure his hand don't feel itchy that day.
Right.
But if I see, you'll see regular security guards here with AK-47s. And I don't think about it. I don't have that relationship that built up with the police. And even the things I've heard about Mexican police is more about, pulling you over and shaking you down for some money, more so than killing you dead in the street.
Right.
So there's sort of this established, I think, relationship that we have with police back home that we don't have here, which adds to the freedom of feeling when we come here in Mexico. We feel like this is just a safer place to be.
Yeah, and the other thing too, though, are we in a safe zone? Because you mentioned cartels.
Yeah, I don't have any proof of this. All I have is word of mouth from different people.
Right.
And they say the cartel has particular safe zones where it's our families are going to be there. We have a truce, none of that crazy stuff goes on. I've heard of Merida being one. I've heard of Querétaro being one. I've heard San Miguel being one. Those tend to be places where expats go to a lot, tend to be safer. So it kind of lines up with the story.
Yeah.
But there's also been cartel shootings in all those places.
You can't escape crime.
You can't escape crime.
Period.
And I think the reputation the cartel has is that they're there to get the person they're there to get.
Right.
They're not there to take out everybody.
Correct.
Yeah.
Right. It's not random crime.
Right.
And I think that's the difference. Like when you look at, comparing society to society, it's not just random crime. You just minding your business at the Walmart and you may not come out that day. Right. It's, or wherever, schools, offices, it doesn't even matter. It's not like that. It's like it's targeted.
Yeah.
It is definitely targeted. And the other thing I was thinking about too, the safe zone, those safe zones, some of them I think match up with the UNESCO World Heritage sites. So they have to have a certain level of safety because the government receives money for that distinction. Right. So we sort of kind of have it good in a way.
Yeah. Like,
there's built-in layers of safety.
Part of that UNESCO heritage makes this, a tourist spot. So, like, again, if you want people to come here and spend their money,
Gotta feel safe.
They gotta feel safe and feel comfortable. And talking about sort of random crime, like the neighborhood we used to live in Carrico, there was a string of robberies. I think maybe 2 or 3 people that I've heard just via Facebook. Of people just getting robbed, take their wallet, move on. So, like, there isn't, like, we're not here in a perfect paradise where there is no crime going on.
Right.
There are crimes. People will break into your house. You still have to be safe. But, it's not, you don't hear about a whole lot of killing. You don't hear about a whole lot of, innocent people dying in gunfire, though it has happened. It's not an everyday thing where in the United States you feel like there's always some random mass killing happening for no apparent good reason. It's not like there's a reason I need to be going after you. It's just I'm mad, I'm crazy, and I want to go shoot people up that day. And I have access to all the guns to do it.
Right.
And when we talk about sort of the idea that, there's petty crime here, people breaking into your house, the security and the lock culture here.
I've never heard anyone's home getting broken into unless it was unsecure. I've never heard of anything like that.
I've heard about somebody like jumping across rooftops to get to another house and coming in and stealing stuff.
Oh, okay.
But in general, like, they tend to take security and their locks very seriously. Like, any house we've been in Mexico, you have to lock yourself in. You have to unlock the door to get out. There is inside and outside locks on every door in the entire home.
Correct.
So if you're in the house and you happen to have lost your keys somewhere, good luck. You're staying home until the locksmith shows up.
Spider-Man, scale down the wall.
Yeah, that's if you don't have barbed wire or spikes across the tops of your walls.
Right. That's another piece of security they build in. Yeah.
Yeah. So like they are not blind to the fact that we live in basically a townhouse and all of our rooftops line up. So like if you wanted to run 5 houses up and break into them, you could jump across the rooftops and do that.
Yeah.
So there is this extra layer of put barbed wire or even put the broken glass. They take broken glass and put it across the top of the walls, which I'm sure is probably the more inexpensive option.
Yeah.
But it does deter people because who wants to climb over that?
Correct. And a lot of their doors are metal.
Yeah.
And gated. You know what I mean? So we have to come through a gate to even get to a regular door. So there is a lot of security.
When we talk about do you feel safe in San Miguel de Allende in particular, absolutely 100% yes. We've been to La Paz, we've been to Mexico City. I would say I did feel safe in Mexico City, even though it's more of a sprawling metropolis. It's closer to like New York City.
No, it's bigger than New York City.
It's bigger than New York City. And it's going to be more prone to crime because of that size and that amount of people.
And there's a lot of cartel activity there as well.
Yeah, yeah.
Like just this last week, there were a couple of mayors. I believe potential mayors. They're having elections. They were taken out by the cartel. So there's, again, crime everywhere, but the bigger the city, of course, normally the larger the numbers in whatever you're tracking, right?
Yeah. So saying all that, I definitely feel safe here, particularly as opposed to the United States and even in other parts of Mexico versus San Miguel. I feel very safe here. And that's, part of the reasons why a lot of us are moving here because as people of color, we didn't feel safe in the place that we were born and we grew up.
Correct.
So we have to relocate to find that safety. And historically, our people have had to do that at all times.
Yeah.
So it's just another form of migration that may be happening now. I think it is happening now. You're seeing a lot of it. But yeah, that's another one in the books. We're here from the new rooftop from our new place. Figure we kind of show off, get some sunshine in there a little bit. But
Y'all
yeah,
should have
come
seen
back.
him struggling with that umbrella for some shade. We need sunshine, but we gotta have shade for the sunshine.
Yeah,
We
can't
feel
have one
safe,
without
though.
the other. Right? I feel safe from the sun rays right now, for sure. But we'll see you guys again next time. Like, comment, subscribe.
Comment, like, subscribe.
Watch another video, and
Please
tell
and
us,
thank you.
if you're in Mexico, if you're in San Miguel, if you're in some other cities, what does your safety feel like compared to being in the United States or even other countries where you may have come from? Really curious to see how your experience with safety kind of feels compared to ours. So we'll catch you guys next week.
Cuidate.
Peace, y'all.